today I'm going to be telling a story about two friends who went on a rock climbing adventure, and it turned out to go very badly very quickly because they didn't use the proper safety equipment or any at all. So their names are Jimbo and Janie, and the story starts off with Janie asking Jimbo, "Hi Jimbo, want to go rock climbing today?" And Jimbo says, "Oh sure Janie, that sounds like fun." So now they made their way to where they're rock climbing, a mountain outdoors or some sort of location. And Janie says, "Here we are, you ready?" And Jimbo says, "Sure, but don't we need safety equipment?" And Janie says, "No, I do this all the time, it's completely safe." And Jimbo was still skeptical, but he decided to go along since he believed Janie, since Janie was his friend. Now, it shows Janie and Jimbo climbing up, and they're having a lot of fun, and Janie says, "Isn't this fun? See, I told you, it's safe. Look at the view." And Jimbo says, "You're right, Janie. I had nothing to worry about." They continue to make their way higher and higher up the mountain, and Janie says, "Let's go higher. Let's continue to go higher." And Jimbo says, "Okay, what can go wrong?" And he is really going to regret that decision, because next, Jimbo slips and he's dangling from the cliff, and he has no safety equipment on, and that's extremely unsafe. And Janie realizes and says, "Oh no, Jimbo, are you okay? Oh no." And Jimbo's yelling, Janie, help." And the last scene is Jimbo ends up falling. And it's a good thing that it wasn't much worse, because it could have been much worse than it was. And Janie, here we have going, "I'll call 911. You were right, Jimbo. We should have used that safety equipment after all." And it just goes to show that, anything can go wrong very quickly. And safety equipment is very, very important. So, my semester project topic is rock climbing safety. And this topic is important to me because I feel as if people don't always take these things seriously, not only rock climbing safety, but any type of safety. A lot of people find themselves and see themselves as indestructible. And rock climbing safety can be very fun if the correct safety equipment and precautions are taken and put into place. And from this PSA, I want people to take with them that safety is not only in rock climbing, but in all aspects of life, and is very important and can be done. It can be the difference between life and death, ultimately. And here are some statistics that I have for rock climbing. Between 1990 and 2007, a total of 40,282 national estimated cases of rock climbing injuries were treated in the emergency room. And of those, 71.8% were males and 28.2% were female. So it's quite a big gap there. And 46.3% were due to a lower extremity injury, and 29.2% were due to an upper extremity injury. And of all those, 77.5% were due to a fall. So it just goes to show that, using the correct safety equipment is really important and can prevent these things. Talking about the 5 E's, the first one is engineering, and it's the most successful form of injury prevention. It's the best approach. And for engineering, this could include the equipment and everything, from the harnesses to the carabiners or hooks, whatever those are called, and just all of the equipment. The second of the 5 E's is enforcement, and that has to do with laws and inspections and stuff. So it could be, if a law was put into place regarding rock climbing, that you have to take a certain course or something like that before you can engage in the activity. The next 5E is education, and this is the most widely used approach. And it's basically to persuade people to alter their behavior so they can increase their personal protection, which is very important. And this could include courses for people to take and stuff like that. For economic incentives, there could always be, giving away free rock climbing equipment to people who take safety courses or take the correct precautions. And for the 5th E, for the emergency response, this is basically representing the failure to represent or to effectively manage hazard with one of the 4 previous methods, so we don't want to do that. And to get more information, you can go to safeclimbing.org. They have a good information about safe climbing. There's also a website called thoughtco.com/tips for safe climbing, and that has a good list of safety tips. And the last one I found is cultureofsafety.silverlining.com, and it has safety for not only rock climbing but a bunch of different things. And lastly, I just want to say thank you for watching, and remember, even if it seems safe, be extra careful and do whatever you can to keep yourself and others safe. Thank you.